Hey y'all, it's Nancy the Handy Scandy here for Imagine. Thanks for joining me today. I had kind of a wild thought for new baby cards or welcome baby cards, and I decided that I wanted to make them Halloween themed, but I also wanted to make them a little bit blingy. So using Imagine products, we are going to add some foil in two different ways to these welcome baby cards. So first I am putting my regular creative medium right on through a stencil. Now you want to be careful if you use pixie spray on your stencil because the foil will stick to that, so you just have to be real careful. But I put the creative medium through the stencil, set it aside to dry. It's going to take a little while, so set it aside, clean off your stencil and your tools, and go on to the next project, which, as you can see, I'm using some tear tape, and I'm making a striped card. Now, in this particular case, I'm going to be using some hot pink foil and some black foil. But I am laying these down kind of in a random pattern, but I have every other is kind of close together, and then I'll be peeling them off or peeling the release paper off in, at least in my mind, what seems random. But you can lay your strips of tape down in any kind of pattern that you want, and you can make them all the same color. You can make them 1, 2, 3, 4 colors. It really is, your heart, do what makes your heart happy. Foil to your heart's content. Now, I do want to say that the brand matters, at least in my experience. Now, I have several different brands. I have Crafter's Workshop, I have Decofoil, I have, Brutus Monroe. I'm not even sure all the different brands of foil that I have, but I can tell you, in my experience, the Gina K foils foil the best. I don't know what's different about them. This one is a Gina K, and I just love it, and it gives me the best results. So you saw me peeling off the release paper from those strips of tear tape, and then I'll be going back in between and adding the black. But I get such good coverage with the Gina K foils. I don't have to go back and fix unless I made a mistake. But when I'm just putting it down into the adhesive in the right places where it's supposed to be, the foil sticks like a dream. I absolutely love it. So keep that in mind. And if you have a favorite, let me know. Let me know. But one thing to keep in mind is that any adhesive will work, and transfer foil will stick to most sticky things. So as I started to say with the pixie spray, if you're using pixie spray and your stencil has pixie spray residue when you lay it down on your cardstock, that residue is going to remain on the cardstock and the foil is going to stick. So just keep that in mind. So back to my card. I finished lifting all of the release paper, and now here I'm using a black foil, and it is a different brand, and you can see that it's not giving the same good results. I'm having to go back over it again and again. Now, in its defense right here, what had happened was the plastic, the acetate that the foil is on, actually got stuck to the tape, and that's what happened there. When the acetate was lifted from the tape, it actually tore the card a little bit. So I went back and just added some more tape, and I got it fixed to the best of my ability. Now I am going to be covering a large portion of these panels, so I'm not too worried if it's not if the coverage isn't the best. But of course, when we're making a project, and especially if it's one that we know we're going to be giving away, we want to do our best, whatever that best might look like. I do always say, though, show yourself grace. So especially if whatever issue you're having it's not your fault, if it's the product that's kind of failing you, if you will, just think about what product you buy next time. But you don't have to be mean to yourself in any way. But on this particular card, you can see that I've pulled back in this stenciled card, and I am just cutting down my foil to sizes that will fit my pattern. Now you can use one color on your whole project. You don't have to go a little crazy like like I am and use multiple colors. But I thought that this was going to be really fun. It was an idea that I had in my head, and I just needed to see it out, see it through. So that's exactly what I'm doing, just using the black, using the teal, and cutting them down into little squares or rectangles or whatever, just so that they'll fit onto all of those adhesive dots. And then I put it in some parchment paper and then in a cardstock shim, and I run it through my laminator twice. I put it in one direction and then I flip it over. I don't put it in a different direction, but I flip it over so that the seam of my sleeve stays pointing to the laminator. And for this particular one, the way this adhesive is, you really do need the heat and you need the pressure of a laminator. So you can't just burnish it down when you're using this type of adhesive. I don't know if it's because it dries. I mean, it's tacky, but it dries. You know what I mean? Whereas tape doesn't dry. It remains tacky. So back to the dots. From this perspective, you can see that there's not great coverage on those dots, right on that dotted panel. Again, that has to do with the foil. It also has to do with the nature of the adhesive and putting it through a stencil, because there are highs and lows. You know, it's almost never completely flat. At least when I stencil, whatever I put through the stencil is almost never completely flat. But there are several different factors at play here why there's not the best coverage. But again, it's going to be covered. So keep that in mind as you make your backgrounds. You know, yes, of course, we want to do our best work, but we also don't need to sweat it if we know that it's going to be covered. So this was actually a very quick and easy project, and you can add foil to anything. And these sweet baby cards, I just die cut all of my letters and my little ghosties and just adhered them down to the panel. That's really all I did. It was super simple, super sweet. And then, of course, the little shaker bits are from this Calls for Confetti. So it's super easy to add a little foil, a little bling to any card. And also these ghosty themed, Halloween themed baby cards would be perfect for any October baby shower. Now, all of the Imagine products will be listed downstairs in the description box. But until next time, y'all, this has been Nancy, the Handy Scandy for Imagine Crafts. And until next time, mwah, I'm out.